So now I want to go over a couple more tips to help you remember when it comes to being able to have everything in place mentally when you go to actually give your speech. And the first one is to rehearse your speech for a friend. You see, one of the best things that you can do is to practice it in front of someone else, because it will help you release some of the anxiety of having to do it in front of people, and it will also allow you to get feedbacks and ways to improve. Another thing you can do is record yourself rehearsing the speech. Let me ask you, have you ever heard a song maybe a couple of times and quickly realized that you basically had memorized the whole song? Well, you can do the same thing when it comes to your speech. In fact, I have recorded many of my practice presentations for keynotes and other workshops that I was doing and things like that. And then I would listen to them in the car or on my phone when I was going for a walk or whatever it may be, so that I can easily remember it. And trust me, it really makes a huge difference, because as you listen to it, you can also see, maybe I can pause here, maybe I can say this, maybe I can rearrange this a little bit. And when you're doing the presentation, a lot of it's going to become unconscious because you've listened to it so many times. It's like a song. It comes up, you're somewhere, and all of a sudden, and you just start singing it or whatever it is. You're like, I didn't even know I knew part of that song, because it's become unconscious because you've heard it so many times. So something basic, something simple that you can do, and it's very effective. Like I said, I've used it many times. In fact, I'll sometimes record things on my phone itself, and then there's many apps that you can do that, and then I'll listen to it all the time. So just a good pointer to take advantage of. The other one is to get enough sleep. You see, sleep is critical for memory, both as you practice and the day before the event. Many studies have shown that lack of sleep will affect the ability to memorize information and then be able to retrieve it later. So that means that if you haven't been getting good sleep when you're actually practicing to get there, you might not be able to effectively remember the information. Put it into your memory, and then when you have to retrieve it later on, it's going to be a lot harder. So the more you can do that, the better. The other part is that the more days you have to practice, the easier it becomes every time you fall asleep, because when you fall asleep, part of your brain reflects on your day and starts organizing the information that you've learned from that day. Therefore, the more days your mind sees it, the better it will store it in a place that is more accessible. So, for example, you have this information that you're remembering today, you go to sleep, the brain says, it's somewhat important, we'll keep it underneath here. And then the second day says, whoa, this must be getting more important. So it puts it here and it puts it here until it puts it in a place that's very easily accessible, because you're telling your brain that it's important. So the more the brain sees something when it's organizing it when you're sleeping, the more it realizes that it's something critical to you, and the more it realizes that it has to develop neural connections to help you store it and retrieve it effectively. The other part is to take a break. Keep in mind that taking care of your mind and body is essential for memorization, as well as the actual performance itself. Therefore, make sure that you're taking breaks and not just trying to consistently cram a bunch of information. This is why you don't want to wait till the last minute to do it, because you're going to be cramming information, and as you probably know, cramming information may not work and may not be very functional, especially if you get nervous when you're doing the event. So take a break. Give your mind the time and opportunity to process information, and taking a break really allows it to do that. So therefore, you can go for a walk, for example, do something that you love, make sure that you stay hydrated, that you eat healthy food, and things like that. Things that are really, really going to help you.